All right, today we are gonna go ahead and walk through this super cute and adorable Black-Eyed Susan. This flower is actually a part of a larger wildflower bouquet tutorial. So if you wanna watch this video and then definitely go check out that video on how to learn how to make all of the other flowers for the wildflower bouquet. Okay, so what we need for this one is we need a black felt ball. This is 20mm ball. We need a little strip of black, this is about 3 inches by 1/4 inch. We need one little leaf base, and this is about 1 1/4 by 1 1/4 inch. And these oval petal shapes, we need 8 of them. This part is not required at all, but to elevate your Black-Eyed Susans to make a little bit better, I am gonna use a little bit of some pan pastels. This is the orange color that I'm using. And I'm just gonna take these petals here and just with a little sponge, throw some orange down on one end. And I'm not going all the way, I'm probably going 1/3 of the way up on my petal. And this just kind of gives the flower just a little bit of something, something. So if you don't have pan pastels, another really great option to use is makeup and eyeshadow. I'm sure that bright neon orange is probably not a staple color that you have in your eyeshadow kit. So what I like to do is I like to get one of those really big, super cheap eyeshadow kits that have all of the super crazy colors in them. And they work super great and they're super cheap. You get like $8, you get like 30 colors versus like $8 for one of these and you get one color. Crayola markers, just regular pastel sticks, chalk, all of those things work really, really good to coloring your felt. Just kind of definitely makes your flower pop a little bit more. So we have all of our petals. Now we're gonna take our little black strip and we are gonna just cut really, really fine, small snippets. I'm going about halfway down. Just because this is such a thin piece of felt, you really don't want to go any thinner or further down than like halfway, or you don't want to accidentally go all the way through. Or just make the piece just very fragile that's going to fall apart easily. You can go all the way around. Put that down now. Okay, so this part is a little bit tricky, and so just bear with me here. We're gonna cut this ball in half. Also, fun fact about these felt balls, they're all made by hand, so it's been really kind of fun cutting these in half because the center is not necessarily black. So I am very carefully and slowly cutting this one in half. And as you can see, this one was filled with like a tan felt first as a base, and then they added the black on top. So it's always fun. You're like, it's like one of those gobstoppers. You're like, you never know what's gonna come on the inside. So the next thing you're gonna do, we have half of our felt ball. We're gonna go ahead and put just a little bit of glue around the very bottom flat edge. And we're gonna apply our strip with the fringe side facing towards the dome. So we've got our fringe coming up here. And then we're just gonna go ahead and glue all the way around flower center. Like that. So this is our center. And then you can kind of flare it a little bit now if you want. So next thing we're gonna do is I'm gonna flip it over. And this is the part you have to pay attention to if you colored your petals, because you wanna make sure that your orange is coming from the center and not accidentally on the outside. I mean, mind you, that would still look really cool, but that's not what we're going for right here. So we have our bottom of our flat circle here, and we're gonna put kind of a cross of glue, and I'm putting a generous amount here. We're gonna make sure our orange is coming from the center, and then go right down the middle here. And then we're gonna put our petals right on top of that glue, just like that. Now we're gonna do it again, but we're gonna do our cross right between our other petals. Take our orange, go there. So this is basically our flower so far. So our next step is we're gonna go ahead and grab one of our 18 gauge wires. Just like all of the other flowers we did, we're gonna make that same little table, like so. We're gonna take our flower base, lead it through. We're gonna put some glue on our green base here. and then go ahead and put it right down onto our flower. I like to kind of line the green up with the yellow petals so that it's not really poking through on the reverse. You can't really see it. So just gonna make that secure. You're like, but Lisa, your flower is flat. It is not curved like the one in the bouquet. Well, let me show you how I do that. Okay, we're gonna take our super cheap $10 mini hair straightener and crank this sucker on. We're gonna go ahead, and I'm taking 2 petals at the time and literally just curling them down. And that heat just makes them curl so beautifully. Now, if you don't have a curling iron, I'm holding really tight. You can pull and kind of bend and it'll do the same thing. It just takes a little bit of manipulation with your hands and whatnot to just get that shape and kind of bend it like that. So it is not a deal breaker to have the curly or the hair straightener. It's just, I think it speeds things up and it helps things, and there you go. So now your flower is curled. So sometimes what I like to do on this flower is hit it with a little bit of felt fabric stiffener just to hold this shape a little bit, because they do get a little floppy. But again, it's also not necessary. Honestly, these flowers are not really meant to be handled a ton. So as long as you're not sitting there and messing with them, they'll be fine. All right, so that is our Black-Eyed Susan. I hope you learned some awesome tricks and tips on how to curve and give some shape to your petals. Make sure you like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you are all in the know for all the fun things that are happening in my shop with felt flowers and tutorials and all the fun things. Also, link below in the description for a PDF pattern for the petal shape that you can go ahead and purchase and make this beautiful flower at home.